So Lesley, you have this this quote in the book, Wellness for Winners. You say, one thing I learned along the way was not to worry about the problems of the world, but to focus on creating the best life possible for me. Like, tell us, what is that all about?
Okay, yes, I know it sounds selfish, but the problem is just like Sally was talking when the whole COVID thing was starting, and I was doing the same thing too. I was watching the news, I was getting into this, fear state. The thing is, we change the world by changing ourselves. I host a show called Good Vibes TV, and it's all about raising your vibration so that you can thrive, because the whole idea is like the law of attraction. As you raise your vibration, you attract like vibrating things. So if you're vibrating in more of the good vibe space, you're going to attract those things. And the good vibes are, love, joy, peace, happiness, these kind of feelings. The bad, or, the lower vibes are fear and anger, or hate, and those kind of things, but fear generally. So that's the difference. Our world, especially the media, I mean, it's all skewed. I mean, we all have our own perception of our reality, right? And we kind of create that reality through our perception. So the way to change that reality is changing our perception, is changing our vibration that we're putting out there, because what we put out there, we come back. It's law of karma. So I know I'm talking about energy and things that maybe not everyone understands, but I think there's more and more understanding of this as people like Tony Robbins and Oprah, get the word out. Deepak Chopra. I used to have a metaphysical bookstore for 16 years called Oak Trail Books in Florida. I also then had a cafe called the Witch's Brew, and for 9 years. So I've been in the metaphysical space for a while. And before that, when I was in college in the 80s, the whole I found this wellness model that said that wellness is not just your physical health, it's also your mental, your spiritual, your occupational, your social, financial, and environmental. I think there's like 8 different parts to it. So that opened up my mind to what is wellness, versus what they traditional medicine says is health. We are multi-dimensional beings. We're more than just our physical. And so it's dealing with life, or looking at life, or creating your life from the inside out. So does that make sense?
Oh, yes, 100%, 100%. I love this because there's oftentimes we hear people say, oh, I want to hang out with like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I decided I don't want to hang out with like-minded people. I want to hang out with higher-minded people.
Right.
Because I realized that by me hanging out in their space, like the people that I want to emulate, right, and be like, I have to hang out with them in order to learn how to get into that energy. And I totally believe in energy. I remember when I started my entrepreneurial journey, and I attended an event called Secret Knock. It was like close to the very beginning of my personal development journey. Like everything started at age 51 for me. And I attended that event, and I was literally on a physical high. Like my body was, I was saying my electrodes are just going off. They're going crazy. And I got so addicted to it that, I noticed like for 2 weeks, I was on this energetic high, and I was loving it so much. But then what happened is I started, like you say, I started operating on that level. My body started, like that was my new normal. At the beginning, it was weird. It felt cool, but weird because I wasn't used to it. But now my frequency has been raised because of that. And I'm now living in that life of positivity that I thought was a bunch of BS for so many decades. I'm like, these people can't possibly really be happy. What's that all about? Because I didn't know what happiness was. So it's interesting how when we move into that state, like you're talking about, that, our life changes, and it does start with us. And you said at the beginning, you said, this may seem selfish, but it's not at all. I believe that it's important, right? It's selfless for us to really like move into that place. So I'd love to talk about your chapter in the book, Wellness for Winners, is what we're talking about today. But then also I want you to talk about Legrity TV, how you got that started and where it is today and what you're doing with it. So first, this book is not your first book. This is not your first rodeo, right? And I would just love to hear from you. Like, what have you thought about the process of going through this, with us and just being part of this book here?
Yes, this has been an awesome experience, and I have to thank Sherry and Evan for sticking with me because initially, like Dion said, this book was supposed to be part of the One Habit series, and those were the two first books I was in. I think it was in 2020 was the first book, and I think you were in that one too. First, One Habit for Entrepreneurial Success, and then I
Yep.
did the one for COVID in 2021. So those were, it was a big leap. And it's funny because I think about, why I wanted to do it. And part of it, it's a weird reason, but part of me was, because I spent all night writing the chapter for the very first book that I did. And I kind of wanted to I wanted my husband to be proud of me. It was kind of weird. But I always had heard that, when you're in a book, when you write a book, whether it's a chapter or the full book, it's kind of like it's more than a business card. It's a way to kind of up level, your not just your marketing, but your brand, I guess. And it opens up all kinds of doors, meeting other people, doing collaborations. You're the queen of collaboration.
Yeah.
And so anyway, those were the first two books. But also what happened was I was approached by someone that was actually in that first book, and she suggested to me the idea of having my own television talk show, and it would be on her streaming network. Well, there were like 19 of us that were on this, working on this beginning of 2021. And it turned out that her platform she did not actually own. So we were all working on our shows and we didn't have a platform. So 5 of us that were kind of on the group that was leading the 19 people decided to create our own platform, which ended up being Legrity TV or Legrity. It's available online as Legrity.tv, but also as an app. So you can go on Google Play, Apple, Roku, Amazon, and also on 3 smart TVs. And it's global. So it's different than just social media, and, we use social media for marketing, but we point people to the show on the platform. And we're currently looking for, and my show, Good Vibes TV, is on that platform, as are several others, including Sherry Leopold. So we're in the building phase. We're not even a year old. We started our company April 18th of last year. So we're in the beginning phases, and we're looking for more and more producers of shows. If you have content already, we can upload it very easily. And right now we're doing a special that you can actually get your program on our platform for as little as $147 a month.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well,
And
I do have a question on this.
Mhm.
Okay, so who's a fit for Legrity TV? And then also, so you said if you produce your own show, what if you don't produce your own show? How can you also be part of it? Or
Well,
is it just for producers?
No. If you have a documentary, if you have other kind of production type things, shows, you can those can be uploaded. But there are several of us that have like talk shows, so you can actually be guest on any of our shows. There's Teresa Talk. She does interviews, authors. I do the Good Vibes focus. And there's several others that I can't remember off the top of my head. But so there's that. And what was your other question about?
Oh, yeah, I was just wondering if you had to be a producer, because the word
No,
producer.
content creator. Content creator.
Yes, that's maybe a better term, right? Because
Right.
producer, that might be like, well, I'm not a producer. I'm not realizing
Right.
that you are a producer because you're producing content. That's really
Well, we're
right.
in this creator economy right now that I think, according to a Forbes magazine recently, said that it's a $20 billion industry now. By the end of 2022, it's going to be over $104 billion industry. So the creator economy is huge. And this is what everyone's going to. They're quitting their jobs. Well, what are they doing? They're becoming creators. So our platform stands out above, outside of, social media. Again, we have a presence there, but social media has a different kind of purpose. Streaming TV is what we do. And that means streaming online, streaming on apps. So people all over the world, we're in 213 countries. So people from all around the world. So if you want to get your message, it could be an entrepreneur that wants to market whatever product. It could be a doctor. We have a Dr. Kylie Burton that does the reading of lab work and stuff, and empowers people to take back their health. But sky's the limit. Our main tenet is, though, that we have programs that positively impact lives and community on a global scale. So that's our focus. If your program, if your message positively impacts lives and communities, you're a fit for Legrity TV.
Fantastic. I love that. That's so if people want to get involved in that, they want to be a content creator on Legrity TV, they just reach out to you at legrity.tv. Is that correct?
No, that's where you can watch it. It's legritymedia.com.
Okay, legritymedia.com.
Right. And to make it easy, if you want, LesleyKlein.com. I have a link tree there, and then there's the link right there for Legrity as well. So just you have lesley.com. I also have a free gift for anyone. I have a PDF that talks about 11 ways to raise your vibration. That's a free little PDF, and I'm hoping everyone can, download that and help them create their lives and, live a better life. Because if we're all working on ourselves, that's how we create world peace, by creating peace within. Create heaven on earth by creating that heaven on earth within.
Heaven on earth within. I love that, because it's so important. Again, I didn't believe in any of that stuff. I thought it was a bunch of BS. And I love the term woo woo, because I remember when I first started hearing about, you have to find peace within. And I was like, really? That's a bunch of BS, and I just didn't believe it. I was one of those that didn't believe any of that. And so now, as I hear people, it's fascinating how we are as human beings, because at the beginning I thought it was a bunch of BS. But now that I have witnessed what it's done for me, I see the reality in it, right? So even we can convert people. So I tried to say here, people can be converted to believing.
Well, but it's not about converting, because I'm against that. It's more about sharing who you are, and it's just kind of like by osmosis. Your light, your energy raises other people's energy up too. Also, the other way, if someone's real depressive or Debbie Downer, that's going to drop you down. So it's like you said, finding like-minded if you're in that state. But people, you don't want to be the smartest person in the room. If you are, you're in the wrong room, right? We've heard that before. We want to be learning from others. We want to have other mentors. We want to be challenged. We want to grow. So being aware of who you're hanging out with makes a big difference. There's another quote, and I don't know who said it. It might have been Jim Rohn, that your network is your net worth. That you're, kind of the 5 people you hang out with the most really impact, your lives.
Yeah, that quote, I think, is a very interesting one, because I love Jim Rohn. I think he's amazing. But that one, I started looking at it and saying, well, wait a minute, because I hang out with multimillionaires and billionaires. So when the saying, your network is your net worth, I'm nowhere near that. But that doesn't mean I'm not going
but
to.
You're getting there.
That. Yeah, exactly. And that's the
Action
thing is
takers.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's the thing is, it's a process. It's not like just because you hang out with those people that overnight you're going to become, that billionaire, right? That it's going to take time. And for me, it's not about the money, because one thing I had to get over, Lesley, was that mindset about money. I grew up in a very poor family. Hand-me-downs was for everything, right? Christmas time, oh my God, I hated Christmas, because when we go back to school, everybody like, what'd you get? I'm like, oh, I didn't get much. I hardly got anything, because we didn't have any money. And so I came from that mindset of money doesn't grow on trees, pinch your pennies, all those different sayings that relate to poor money. And that was just what I believed. And so it took a while for me to move into this state of mind, again, that state of mind, to believe in myself, to believe that I deserve to be wealthy, because I know that wealth, now I know that wealth is tied to the number of people's lives you impact. So all those people that, people are complaining about this person and that person being a billionaire, they don't give all their money, almost be impossible for them to give all their money away. But look at all the lives they have impacted. And that's really, now there have been maybe some lives that have been detrimented from them, but not everybody. And so my point there, I do have a point. My point is that it took me to realize that money is tied to impact. So the amount of money that I make is tied to the amount of impact I make. And so I'm focusing on impact. There's a book by Wendy Lipton Dibner called Focus on Impact. It's an amazing book where it just helps you to remember, focus on the impact. What kind of impact are you making? Because the money will follow. So I don't know why we went off into that tangent, but so let's go back to Wellness for Winners, because that's what we're here about today. So, tell us about your chapter, in so many words, and you'll want to hear about, because you already talked about joining us on this and what the journey is like, but your chapter, what is it all about? I know you have a chart in there for us to follow and all kinds of good stuff.
Well, the whole idea of raising your vibe, I have a couple of charts in there. One is from Abraham Hicks, her emotional guidance scale, and also Dr. David R. Hawkins' scale, emotional scale as well, where he actually gave numbers, a scale for different, like what I was talking about, from fear to love, the range and where you're vibrating it, because our emotions are emotions are energy. So where we're vibing, where we are emotionally, thoughts lead to actions, lead to results, right? So we need to watch what our thoughts are, first be aware of them and know what's going on within. If we're doing that self-talk, and Sherry will talk a lot about the self-bullying, if we're doing negative self-talk, you're never going to get anywhere. And it's our belief system. And the truth is, we all deserve all the good that there is. We do, just by being, beings, spiritual beings. I see us as, parts of the higher consciousness, we're just expressing in that way. So when your good isn't coming to you, because there are blocks there, blocks in your attitude, blocks in beliefs, and it's a matter of peeling those away and then accepting the good into your life and just affirming and just staying in that, trend. Like you said, at your secret knock, and you were vibing so high, you had all that energy, and you were able to kind of up level to that next state of being. So, again, my chapter is about that, raising your vibe, how that works. And by raising your vibe, you attract like vibrating things. So just staying in that good vibe zone will help create a better life.
And there's the thing about that too, is like, as I mentioned, is that I had to, by hanging out with higher vibing people, it helped to elevate my vibe. And so that saying of, I want to be around like-minded people. See, now I'm to that point where I want to be around like-minded people, because I'm mentally in that place. I'm physically in that place of, vibing high. Right. So I now I'm happy in attracting people to my vibe, rather than before. I was on a very low vibration. I was very negative. I was judgmental. Why would I want to hang around like-minded people? And I know it's
a lot of people are like that. A lot of people are that's because that's how they're raised. I mean, if you watch the news or traditional media, that's all that you see.
Yeah.
It's very easy to be in that very, negative place. If we watch the traditional media, that's why Legrity TV exists, to put positive programming out there so that we are, lifting ourselves up and getting to that state. So like vibrating people, I get what you're saying about higher, and that makes sense. But it's just the fact that, wherever you're vibing, those are the kind of people you're attracting. So if you see the kind of people in your life that are not what you want to be, then you need to, get new people in your life.
Find a new vibe, right?
Yeah.
Find a new vibe. Well, tell everybody how they can get in contact with you. You have, Legrity.tv is where you can find her shows, many, many shows, and many more to come. She's looking for people who want to be part of that. And so if you want to have your own TV show, don't be scared. Just reach out to her and find out what it's all about. She has a special going on right now. How much did you say it is right now a month?
$147 a month.
Wow. That's killer.
To start and get you up so many storage wise, but then that's limited training and stuff like that. But then we have other levels as well. But, it's wonderful. And we use StreamYard. I use StreamYard just like this. So
Mhm.
it's an easy platform to use to do my talk show, but you're not limited to that, So, and we have masterminds, and we have trainings. We have a learning resource center, all kinds of trainings that help you from developing your idea to actually getting things uploaded. So we're there to help, and we're there's 5 of us. It's not just me; it's 4 other co-founders, and we're just wanting to just create a beautiful platform that will really change the world.
Yeah, so go to LesleyKlein.com, LesleyKlein.com. Go check it out. There's a way to connect with her over there. Lesley, thanks so much for being part of this, Wellness for
Oh, you're
Winners.
welcome.
It's been a
Thank
pleasure
you.
having you. Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you for
And
the
I'd love to be
opportunity.
on your good vibes show
Yes,
if you'll have me. See how I invite
absolutely.
myself?
No, have you asked before, or I offered before? And yes, but
I'm
I
in.
knew we needed to get through this, through the
Yes.
big launch, and then we'll kind of settle down and talk. So yes,
Yeah.
definitely, I want you on my show.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Have a great day and
You're
enjoy the rest
welcome.
of the
Thank
launch.
you.
See
Thank you.
you.
Bye-bye.